Hey, how's it going, YouTube? Lawler here. As always, a move I alluded to yesterday has been brought to light. If you guys haven't seen the news, buckle up. It's going to be a pretty interesting one. We've also got some MS Paint shenanigans to show you guys at the end. As always, if you guys are trying to stay to date on all things Rocket League esports related, or just esports in general, business stuff behind the scenes, consider dropping a subscription as well as turning on notifications. Likes, comments down below as always, along with all the social medias if you want to stay up to date. But let's rip off the band-aid and get straight into it. In a report from Shift today, and one that I alluded to probably coming out very shortly that I was trying to tiptoe around, is the fact that First Killer, LJ, Kofer, and Coach Violent Panda have been rumored to reach verbal agreements with Shopify Rebellion to compete under the organization for the 2026 season. Now, for a lot of people on YouTube, you guys do not pay attention to Twitter or the subreddit and stuff. This is the first time you're hearing this. This is a pretty big, like, wait, what type situation. So let's take a step back. First things first, two teammates in FK and LJ, previously Ultimates, moving over to Shopify Rebellion. What does that mean for the Ultimates? Chronic looking around like, what the heck, guys? What about me? Chronic going to be probably, in my opinion, a pretty sought-after free agent. I would expect him to go to Space Station with Reveal and one other. Whether that happens or not determines on tryouts and practice and all that kind of stuff, which, according to a source, doesn't seem to be happening. It seems to be people just be going off of the assumption of what you can do based upon your results in the past. A lot of people have just been kind of waiting for the dominoes to fall, and it's been chaotic to say the least. As someone who is also trying to coach, trying to find players who are willing to, like, pop into the threes and scrim has been very difficult because everybody's just waiting for what the big players do, and it's just like, guys, why are we waiting? What is going on? With that in mind, we then talk about Kofer, obviously former Space Station coming in. If that is the case, my hope is that Space Station got paid the bag. For Space Station to let someone like Kofer go, if he is under contract, they had to be paid a pretty sizable amount for that to happen. And luckily for them, Shopify Rebellion is one of those teams that can do that. On the last part of that, Violent Panda as a coach, who's also in chat. Good to see you, Panda. We'll have to talk off camera. But for Violent Panda, if this is the case and he is joining, this is pretty surprising because Dignitas, as we know, has everybody kind of going elsewhere. We talked about in yesterday's video, Stizzy moving and taking the Vitality spot. You know, Yoris and Oli potentially being a duo, with more information about that here in a second. And then you talk about their last but not least, and it's like, everybody's just kind of going elsewhere. So when you think about Dignitas, it's like, what does that mean for Jack? What does that mean for Panda? Well, we now know. We know what's going on with Panda. So I would have not been surprised if Panda was originally trying to put this together with Stizzy and some iteration, maybe like a Stizzy FK Kofer or something to that extent. But that's not always how these things work out. Sometimes players are very, very strict about who they want to play with and how that stuff applies, what coaches they want to go with. I wouldn't have been surprised if this was supposed to be like FK LJ or FK Kofer and Reveal instead of LJ. Who knows how that works out? But sometimes players are going to make it very well known, the coaches that they want to associate, the ones that they want to work with, and that does make a difference on how this all plays out. So there is a lot of moving parts, and the ones we haven't talked about is the Shopify Rebellion team. Both Reddles and Wavy have posted that they are going to be unrestricted free agents, which means that they can go and do and don't have to worry about the contract limitations and stuff like that. I'm not surprised by that. I wouldn't be surprised if Shopify only signed contracts to the end of the season. And that way they don't have to deal with buyouts and all that kind of stuff, especially when it was a short-term band-aid. But let's be perfectly honest about this whole situation. Shopify's needed to go either all in or get out for a very long time. Since 2023, they've been operating with Memory as coach and trying to slowly build this roster. Brought in many different roster iterations between Justin and Reddles and Wavy, and have tried many a different trial. Brought in JNaps as an assistant coach, and while yes, that did get them to a major, the results are not what is desired for a team that has been spending and been around for this long. It's just quite simply not good enough. Shopify Rebellion is going all in. Shopify Rebellion is spending a ton of money. They are investing heavily And they've got not only the finances, if you guys don't know, Shopify is valued at like 80 billion on the stock market or something ridiculous. I forget what their actual amount is. It's insane. But then on top of that, you're also talking about, on the other side, facilities, boot camp opportunities. We saw all the vlog footage for Shopify. It was great. Time to bring in a top tier team that can go and run and win that marketing game in front of audiences. Now, do I think this team is going to go and win a world championship? Probably not. I really don't. But at least they'll be in the consideration of potentially a top 8 consistent, which is what they want. Once you make top 8, it comes down to preparation, how you prepare on the day. How are you performing on the day is what really matters when you get into top 8. This team at least gives them that opportunity. This team gives them a chance to play upset, turn some heads. And as many people have been talking, it definitely leans into, assuming that's the style of coaching and the style of structure the team wants to go with. But this is a very aggressive team if it wants to be. Will they play unselfish? Will they set each other up? Will they provide opportunities? That's always a question mark with First Killer. Is he going to realize that his best asset is his skills to set up his teammates and not being the one to score the goal? Unless that opportunity prevents itself. That is what I'm excited to find out. I'm excited to watch this team. People say, hey, this is the clear number 2 behind NRG. But we still haven't seen what Xperi and the boys on SSG are going to cook up. Again, I alluded to it. You've got Reveal, who I personally thought is the best player on the team. I think Reveal is an absolute stud. What can you pair with Reveal, believing in the young kid who has proven himself, depending on the free agents, which now comes in the really poor thing, which is MS Paint. If you guys can't tell the chaotic nature of this graphic, it's meant to be that way. We haven't heard any specific details about some of the roster moves with South America. My assumption is that something has to change. Maybe you bring in like a Swift or a KV1 over to Furia. We'll have to wait and see. On the other side, we are seeing some of the transfers, but the big thing to focus on is on the top left here. For Space Station, we do have that Reveal is isolated. Scribbles, his former teammate, has retired. So you either go and make a move and you try to figure out, hey, do I steal someone from some of these other top NA teams? Do I go after a free agent like the Diaz's and stuff? CRR has already admitted that he's going back to EU. Who do I look for? You've got free agents like Mech, 5UP from the POAB guys, former Carl Com, things like that. Like, you've got to go deep to figure out what is available unless you're doing a buyout for players on the Gen G squads or things of that nature. You're then also looking at, Wavy, Reddles, 2-piece. I look at it, I go, okay, probably the best thing off the top of my head, no idea of chemistry and stuff. I look at Chronic, I look at Reveal, I look at 2-piece, and then I start trying different iterations from there. How that's going to apply, I have not a clue. I do not know what's going to happen. I do not know how these domino pieces are going to fall, but that's basically what everybody's waiting for. All the other teams that we haven't listed in here, all the other players that we haven't talked about, we've got to wait and see. We got to ultimately decide, do I get a tryout? Do I have that desire for some of these or not? We will find out. Obviously, you guys are seeing all the chaos on the other side as well. I know my camera's blocking this. This is not what the focus is for this video. The only thing that we are talking about is that Yoris and Oli were rumored to be playing with somebody else. Someone in chat might be able to clarify that for me. Someone said that they were trying out somebody. Rust Easy 95, maybe. Maybe that was it. Yeah. There was another French person on Twitter that was talking about how Rust Easy 95 might be trying with Oli and Yoris. Whether that ends up being true or not, we'll have to wait and see. I'm sure they're trying out different iterations. I would expect those guys to try out anything and everything, but who the heck knows how it's going to play out? We still don't know what that means for the remainder of the BSK roster because Mozzarella has announced that he is going to be LFT. So we don't know. Maybe this team disbands. What's happening with the former BDS? We don't know. Are Nico, Juke, and Mats are sticking? Are they trying something? We do not know. We have no clue. So stuff is, as you guys can tell, a bunch of scribbles and all over the place, not to mention Scribbles because he's retired, but you guys get the idea. Either way, it's chaotic. It is nuts. It's chaos, and we still haven't heard a lot about international transfers, who's being enticed to go to like SSA. That is what I have for the latest news for you guys today. It's kind of a quick turnaround, but there is a lot of moving parts and a lot of moving pieces. And as I told you guys, I will do my best to keep you guys up to date as I hear more and more, at least with what I can share publicly. That being said, I'm going to go bug the heck out of Violent Panda. I'm going to go DM him and see if he replies or if he continues to pretend to not be my friend. even though we had plans a long time ago to go play an OCE together. Jokes or not, I think we could have made top 4. Either way, that's going to do it for today's video. As always, if you guys want to stay up to date, like, subscribe, notifications, drop comments down below with your thoughts. Do you think this new Shopify Rebellion team can finally do what they did not before, which is make a top 8? That's going to do it for today's video. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.